You guys are ready, right? Let's see.
You heard right. What are your thoughts?
All right, I think they're good. How are you doing?
So we are excited to be in the US. Never thought that we're going to actually be in the US this year. And we're taking part of Techstars Equitech program. It's inaugural cohort in Baltimore. So this is where we are now.
And for those of you who don't know, Techstars is a program or an accelerator. You can think about this as a community where you take your company and they break it apart into pieces and then put it all back together in the way that's helpful to you in terms of growth and advice and funding. And it's for us at least, it's a 14-week program where it started this week. So I think right now we're in November 15th-ish, and it's going to go on until February 25th. Demo day in front of 500 plus people. Most of them are investors from everywhere around the world. And the big ambition on our end is to grow our company 100x by that time and raise a round of financing.
When I met you both in Vadim's birthday, you were just starting the seed round. And then when I came back from Azerbaijan, you said, oh, we already completed the round. So it happened pretty fast. How it went for you, and like what was the process look like, and like what did you learn from it, and what would you advise for the newbies?
Honestly, yes, like it's so funny when we said everyone that we're fundraising during the summer, a lot of people said, don't do it, just don't do it. Summer is like the worst time because everyone is on vacation, taking it easy, you will not get any money. But we didn't want to listen. We actually persisted, and we're happy that we actually done it. I think we kept momentum going. The moment we got the first check, we were like, okay, we can't stop now. And then that allowed us to close the round fairly quickly. The lesson we learned is consistency is the key. Like we will do outreach every day. We'll keep, and then be ready. Like there's gonna be a moment when somebody will say, hey, who do you want me to introduce? So like, and that moment, like that person will not ask you all the time. That person will say just in the middle of the conversation that can come up. Be ready to have that list of your like top star investors who you really, really wanted to approach, but you can't have that connection. So we had like Excel spreadsheet of people that we wanted to approach. And yes, it's all possible. Don't shy away. Don't think that some people are impossible to reach. We called a lot of people, a lot of entrepreneurs, and yeah, it worked.
At the same time, like deal with criticism head on, right? A lot of people told us that you guys are too early. Okay, no problem. But then it gets worse. A lot of people told us, you guys are, not from this industry. Why are you building this company? There's been criticism around us being immigrants, maybe not as connected as, your traditional Canadian generations. And then it gets worse, like the discrimination against women founders and minority founders is a real concern. We know that less than 3% of female CEOs get financing, or less than 3% of, I think, companies that are run by female founders are venture backed, either one of those. I don't remember exactly how that's phrased. But we had to push through that. And we really felt that sometimes when, Assel would take a call and, that person wouldn't take us seriously or for whatever reason. And the business fundamentals were solid. We've done the most amazing research. We had most of the customers using us recurrently, and we even had our friends committing money because they know us from way back. But I guess the pattern matching and what have you just kind of we got the wrong side of that when we entered into venture capital meetings. Now things have changed. Now they reach out to us. Now they want to invest in us, and we don't know if we want to work with them. That's a different side of the story. But I would say that tackle the adversity and just believe in yourself, right? Like if you believe in something strongly enough, don't let some people throw you off and say you can't do it or give you a reason why not do it. I very clearly remember there's been two types of investors. One that said you cannot do it, and they gave us all kinds of reasons. And there's been a smaller group of people that said you can do it, and here's how you're gonna do it. And even though I'm not ready to invest today, here's what like you can do, and here are the connections and ideas and resources that you can use right now to get to that same level. And please keep me posted and let me know what I can do for you. Those investors we really are still keeping in touch with, obviously, but they're not all like that.
And I like the fact that you stayed very consistent, no matter like what people told you, and you kept going. So it's very rare. Like sometimes startups get discouraged after a couple of meetings. They say, oh, maybe it's not meant to be. So consistency is like, you guys are a pure example of it. I know that you were going some sort of a pivot, like you were talking about Shopify integration. Like since we chat, is your product offering changed? Like right now when you present, what do you say, what your Paperstack does?
We started was like servicing solopreneurs market at first, but then we realized that it's so huge now that we have to narrow, and we have to actually focus on one group. So this is why we decided, okay, e-commerce founders. These are the people we could empower, we could help out. We recently got approved by Shopify. Our app is there, is available. We've been under unlisted for a long time because we've been doing private beta. So yeah, that's the recent update. How we describe ourselves is we say we are a fractional CFO for your online store. Essentially, what we'll do is we'll take all the data in one place. We'll connect with your Shopify, with your banking, Stripe, PayPal in one place. And then we'll categorize all the transactions for you. And then we'll visualize and simplify all this financial data so you can make a decision about what to do next in your business.
Not going to be personal, right? Not only for businesses.
Only for businesses, yes. And now, because for a lot of e-commerce founders, they want to grow their store, but they have to make a decision, not just based on intuition, based on the data, right? The financials. And for you to go nitty-gritty, some people feel intimidated by accounting. Some people feel intimidated looking at like balance sheet and income statements. But it doesn't mean you cannot look. It doesn't mean you cannot understand the data. We'll just simplify it and we'll make it accessible to all the founders.
That's amazing. And it looks like if you have a partnership with Shopify, customer acquisition will not be complicated since this will come to your hands. Just my assumption.
That's the ideal. Like we are on Shopify Appstore. That's like already a huge win for us. And Vadim done an amazing job. And we also have engineers working with us, so they haven't been sleeping to deliver this really fast and go through Shopify's like check and audit, because they don't just give you access and approve. You have to satisfy all the requirements. Yes, ideally, people will, when Shopify sellers, when they think about bookkeeping or CFO services, they'll come to Paperstack. But I know we have a lot of work to do.
And for the next steps, like once you got into Techstars, so how do you, like, I understand that you raised seed round, the value is 250, if I'm not mistaken, right?
So that was actually pre-seed, which is just words people use to describe sort of like the stage of your company in the eyes of an investor. It was a pre-seed because it was a small amount raised from angel investors. You can also call it an angel round. That's also quite accurate. But we raised $250,000 from individuals that felt that we are capable of changing the world in the way that we described, and they agreed with both the direction and the opportunity and ourselves as the two people in charge of that. With Techstars, we're hoping to, or projecting to, get to at least 100 e-commerce clients, paying customers. And with the Shopify app being publicly available to 1.8 million online merchants around the world that build on top of Shopify. We think it's feasible. But we also know that technology doesn't sell itself. So what are we going to do? We're going to market, we're going to sell, we're going to sign up with the different organizations that are supporting e-commerce sellers and create value additive partnerships. We are physically in Baltimore right now, so that gives us an opportunity to double down on the US market, but our entire network is in Canada. So we get the best of both worlds. We get to really put this out there in Canada, but then do a lot of more business development on the ground here in the US. And we are looking into other markets like New York, state, California state, other states in the US that have a lot of e-commerce potential.
So pre-seed round, like a friends and family round, 250K. Then you got into Google Accelerator. Then you got into Techstars. So what is next?
Next, ideally you would hear some success stories of our clients that
who
will say, hey, before Techstars, I was moving at this space, but now because of
Paperstack.
Before Paperstack, I was moving in that space, but now because I have Paperstack, now I can make decisions so much faster. I don't have to wait for my bookkeeper, for a quarterly or annual review to make the decision. I can make decision on Sunday night, and then Monday, my new campaign starts, new performing, and then that's giving me a lot of return, and my business is growing exponentially. I want to hear those stories, and so hopefully we'll be able to share those stories. And yes, the next thing, maybe partnerships. We're open. My DM, my inbox are open all the time, as well as Vadim's. And last but not least, of course, we would like to close maybe another round of financing. So that's because Demo Day will be a great opportunity for us to speak and present to VCs.
But I like to double down on what Assel have said, right? It's not just about us anymore building out our company, but it's about the impact on our customers. Would love nothing more than to get on that stage on February 24th and say, these are the 100 lives that we've impacted. And these are the e-commerce sellers that were, guessing their decision-making through, making their decision-making through guessing. And now they have the kind of dashboard that allows them to make these decisions based on data. And these are the ways that we've impacted their families and their ambitions. Also, don't forget that a lot of e-commerce sellers have quit their jobs due to COVID or got laid off. They're not venture-backed, and they don't have a bag of cash sitting in the bank. Every day, they're fighting to put food on the table or stay in business. So to us, it's also making that difference in our community that we service, which are solopreneurs, e-commerce sellers, helping them take that business to the kind of level where they don't need to think about getting that job back or keeping 3 side hustles while selling online. We want to enable them to be financially independent and do what they love, while abstracting all the complexity and all the nitty-gritty financial stuff away from them. So it's really the impact that we're going after. But we do need the resources to get there, and that's what Assel was referring to when she said that we need the fundraising and other things.
February 24th, 2022 will be your demo day for Techstars. And what is your ask till that time? Like, what do you need help with?
We need help with, if you are a commerce founder, please DM me, message me, email me. Would love to chat with you. Want to get to know you, want to learn your struggles and how we could potentially help you out. If you are a community builder of e-commerce founders, please reach out. If you are providing maybe other services to e-commerce founders and would love to partner, please reach out. So DMs are definitely open. And
this also goes out to incredibly talented people that found themselves unfortunately impacted by COVID. We're hiring. We're looking all the time for talented individuals that wouldn't necessarily have the opportunity, whether that's because they're immigrants or because they were, adversely impacted by COVID. We're looking for you. We want to work with you. Our DMs are open. You can reach out to us, Vadim at paperstack.us, Assel at paperstack.us. And just tell us why you think you are, the value additive candidate. And even if we don't have a job, we just hired somebody a day ago, and that person convinced us that she deserves an opportunity, not because we were hiring actively for that opportunity, but because of the skill set that she had, and we created a job around her skill set to that can help the company, but also help her. And so, just because we don't have an opening doesn't mean we can't work with you. So if you're talented and hungry and curious about e-commerce and want to impact small business community around yourself, reach out.
What kind of roles you are looking for?
Right now, we are looking for people who can spread the word about us. Actually, like maybe like brand awareness. I honestly, I don't know how to come up with like this fancy titles. The last thing I want to add: we don't have resumes. We don't have cover letters. All we do is a type form. For social media person, when we're looking for, we said, look, tell us about yourself. Share social media accounts you work. It doesn't have to be like 1 million follower, but just show us, what you've done, what you're proud of. Share these things. Maybe you are also want to be becoming an influencer and you're growing that community. Share that thing too. That also counts, right? And then tell us why you want to work at Paperstack and why do you think you are the right person. That's it. And then we'll schedule an interview, see if you're a good fit, and then we'll move forward really fast.
And you don't need to have connections that are connected to us. We hired 2 people back to back that we've never met before and nobody recommended them. We jumped on the interview, we had a positive vibe, we reviewed their work, it was very strong application, and we didn't ask for references, we didn't ask for cover letters, we didn't ask for any of that. The entire process probably lasted 15 minutes. You can apply in 5 minutes, and our interview lasts 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and you can get started. Now, what does that mean? That also means that if you're not performing, you're out as quickly as you join our team. So instead of going through multiple rounds of interview and then being afraid to part ways with somebody, we're opening ourselves up to anybody that thinks that they can either build a product or help us put that product in customers' hands. And if you're good enough, feel out, reach out. We'll get in touch with you and we'll give it a shot. And if it works, you're staying. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But at least we want to be out there and give people the opportunity, and also, give people the opportunity instead of hiding behind certain decision-making frameworks that honestly don't make sense in the 21st century.
And I also want to add those short-term projects that we agree, they're all paid. We'll always pay. We'll always say, even if we decide not to move forward after that for some reason, if it's a mutual decision, like that person doesn't want to work with us, we don't want to work with us, either of those or both of us, you're still getting paid.
Yeah, you still walk away with a fair payment for your work, and you know how much, because we negotiate ahead of time. So it's never free work.
I love the fact that you ditched the resume and the long hiring process. So that's critical for speed in terms of like when you're in the baby steps of the startup. I think we covered most of the topics. I'm just trying to remember what else we could have covered. We didn't.
1 hour later.
I think Shopify will acquire you guys.
Let's send the vibes.
Because your solution, like instead of Shopify to duplicate what you have designed, they can just implement what you have created.
I hope I'm through Techstars. Toby, CEO of Shopify, will invest in us. He's gonna watch your interview. Like, Nargis, can you make an intro? So if he wants to invest, I will not miss his call. I'll answer. He can message me anywhere. WhatsApp, iMessage, LinkedIn, DMs are open. No, honestly, it's not just about the acquisition. It's just his experience, personality, right? And also what he's done. So I would love. That's how so far we've been approaching our investors. Not about the capital, but about how that person can
borrowing their brain.
Yeah, borrowing the brain. How that person can actually move us to the next level.
That's lovely, guys. Wish you all the best in your future endeavors. I'm confident that whatever you do, you will do it with heart. Like before you started Paperstack, I knew Assel and Vadim separately. Now you got join the forces together and building the company. No matter what the result is, like this is the journey. I would say enjoy every bit of it, and I'm confident that whatever you touch will turn in gold because you are so smart and dedicated.
Thank you.
Thank you, Assel. Nargis, sorry.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting us and having us.